that surrounded him and to which he so enthusiastically contributed. I always respected that my father could make his living by doing what he loved. I was deeply touched and surprised when he approached me to collaborate on Unveiling with him. It has been a poignant and inspirational process. I am so proud to have my painting stand alongside my father's work, so enjoy the wonderful poets who have come to read and the paintings that will accompany their voices. Can you tell I'm nervous? The first person who's going to come up and read is Abby Friedman. This is a preface in the book. It's written to Bob from Lizzie.
Microphone.
Dear Dad, thank you for asking me to do this book with you. You have always validated my desire to be creative, and through your eyes, I could see my own worth and talent as an artist. Our work does not have that much in common, but our bond is our mutual respect for each other's work. Your encouragement has always been important to me, and is even more so now, with your idea of this collaboration. I admire your lifelong journey as a poet. I am sorry that you will not get to see these final results, but I cherish the thought of you. But I cherish the thought that you wanted to do this with me. It is an honor to be here with you in this book. Love, Lizzie. There's tissues up here. Just kidding. I just want to also say thank you, Abby. I want to say that the readers will be in order of the book, and there is an extra copy up here if you need it. And the next person reading is Charles North.
Thanks, Lizzie, and congratulations. I wasn't going to say anything, but Mark Pavlik asked me if I would say something about the genesis of this book, because I had a tiny hand in it. So since I think it's actually interesting and it explains the dedication, I would say something. When Bob was in the hospital, we talked a lot on the phone, also from home when he managed to get home during all that. And at one point, he seemed very depressed because he wasn't doing any writing. So we talked about that a little while, then I said, I'll give you an assignment. And I did, and he wrote a terrific poem, and I gave him more assignments, and they're in the book. So that explains the dedication. And he was much happier, as all you poets know. This is the first poem in the book, Restless in Spring. Do not aspire to be a carefree mayfly. The mayfly lives just one day. And it might not be a good day, despite the sincere wishes of the other mayflies. It might be black of sky, with pounding rain, and birds of relentless hunger. So you might consider moving on and becoming a June bug, buried in the mud and secure with your 70 loving eggs, until light penetrates the dark and shrivels you up. What now? There are no July bugs. You might just try staying human.
Thank you. Okay, the next reader is Mary Bonita.
Thanks, Lizzie. Congratulations. This is a wonderful occasion. I
often known to be somebody who causes delays because I see something I want to take a photograph of. Stop the car, wait, hold on. So this poem appealed to me. It's called Photographer. She stops to take a photo of the ocean in Palm Beach. It's much like the ocean in New York, but it's the ocean of record. And she must have it. Jellyfish admire her sense of responsibility and would applaud if they could. I will join them. Endless clapping.
Thank you, Mary. That is about my Aunt Susie, who's sitting right in the middle there. Okay, the next poem is Chatter. Justin Janelle is my name.
Thank you. Now I want to know what all the specific assignments were. This one tells you about it. Chatter. I did this Saturday puzzle on Sunday, and the Sunday puzzle on Saturday, and I watched 1,000 hours of Cops and Robbers when my friend assigned me the task of writing a baseball poem. Since right now there is no baseball, except in memory, so I thought of the Miracle Mets and then Boys of Summer. But they both seemed frayed from overuse, and I began to think of the teams of my boyhood. Call them the boys of early spring. Eddie Stanky and Pete Reiser and Cookie Lavaghetto, Kirby Bigby and Ed Head, and that perfect baseball name, Dixie Walker. Brother to Harry the Hat Walker, and remembered more as a bigot who wouldn't play with Jackie Robinson than as an outfielder. But I didn't know that when I was 10, and we had the only television set at 946 Bushwick Avenue. And I watched the games by myself with a bag of candy corn, the cheapest loose candy WorldWorks sold, assuming the Dodgers and I would grow old together, 12, 14, beyond. And wondering why all baseball announcers had southern accents, and now the rich players and the even richer owners have finally decided to play some baseball. And I guess I'll slump down and stare at the games by myself again, but without candy corn.
Thank you, Justin. Okay, the next person reading is Kimmy.
It's a kind of reunion. Thank you so much, Lizzie. It is an absolutely gorgeous evening.
Right in the mic.
Right in the mic. Okay. All right. Right in the mic. All right. Everything's all right. I'm wearing my water buffalo coat. It's 92 degrees. I'm in water buffalo, New York. No, that's not right. I'm in hot water, USA. But everything's all right. Was it DiMaggio? Hit 3 doubles for the Cincinnati Reds? Not bad for a dead guy. No, that's not right. He's a dentist, a Seventh-day Adventist, a mentalist. He was sent to head the rescue effort, but he got picked off. The Arno is not always gentle. The high water mark is at eye level. Paintings rush downstream. I can tie my shoes with my eyes closed, with one hand in the dark, standing on my head. The nurses are running fevers, and the doctors are running away. We're burying canned body parts in the garden. It's almost first light. We'll be all right.
Thank you, Kimiko. The next person reading is Juan.
Sure.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out. Potty mouth. I would like to meet the man who coined potty mouth and plunge his head into a bucket of shit for say an hour or so, just to make the point that there are no fucking dirty women. Potty mouth. Thank you, Bob.
Okay, and now is Sherman Alexi.
Want to remind all you readers, it's a step off. And they did that thing where the stage and the floor are the same. So there's an optical illusion. I first met many of you in 1992 at a party at Wyckoff, and it's good to see many of you again. It's a good party. I'm reading Keyring. Why do I still carry these heavy keys? This one was for the print center on Varick Street, which I left 11 years ago. No one in that building would know me now. This was for the 1997 Toyota I sold to Omar for $400 3 years ago. It ran for 20 years, and it was my friend. But true friends don't insist on getting parked. This one opens the door at the This one opens the door at the top of the stoop. It hasn't been opened in 15 years. One day movers will carry out all I own, maybe including me. And what is this key for? I don't remember it, but I'd better keep it. It might be the key that unlocks the universe, or the doorway to oblivion. I might be engaged with that door.
And now, Joan Martin.
Thanks for the warning, Sherman. And congratulations, Lizzie. This poem will tell you that Bob's influence continues from the other side, because I haven't been able to get this song out of my head since reading the poem. The title is An Old Cowhand Went Riding Out One Dark and Windy Day. I have managed to empty my head almost completely, creating vast hollows with crusty, thick walls, except for that one dim room reserved for old song lyrics, which permits neither additions nor erasures. So today, just when I think I have achieved total mindlessness, I find myself humming Ghost Riders in the Sky and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. No, not humming. I know the lyrics, every relentless word. And when I try to segue into, say, Bartok piano solos or Etruscan poetry, for instance, a thundering herd of red-eyed cows insists on center stage. As the cowboys rode on by him, he heard one call his name. Hey, Schmuck, we always said. And the cruel reindeer won't let Rudolph play their games, So the room is filled with sweating bodies until there is no room to breathe, just flesh on flesh, sweat and stench, and an ominous red glow through the fog, and it's too late to switch to Some Enchanted Evening.
Thank you. Next is Joanna Furman. You were right. It's Bill. Bill Sabatsky. Putting my glasses on would help.
What do I have to watch out for here? Everything.
Watch out for everything.
Thank you, dear. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all. I want to do a little prep session here for you for this poem. If I can find the right. Yeah, this poem is called, if you're following sequentially, and so the poor dog got none. Does it have anything to do with the religious life? Animals becoming spiritual characters. But you might remember this from your infancy, from Old Mother Hubbard. And the first stanza of this long poem is, Old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard to get her poor dog a bone. But when she got there, the cupboard was bare, and so the poor dog had none. And so here comes Bob's poem. Here comes Bob's poem. It's one of Bob's more Dadaist moments here. To fall asleep. Write new verses to Old Mother Hubbard. Write a letter to Liz Swados. Take a Klonopin. Name actor siblings. 4 Marx brothers, 3 Lane sisters, 3 Barrymores, Curly, Shemp, and Mo. Write a letter to Harvey Shapiro, to Ed Woods, to Jane Cortez, to Tom Egan, to Ron Schreiber, to Paul Violi. Take another Klonopin. Write new verses to Friggin' in the Riggin', 2 Crosbys, 2 Fondas, 3 Carradines. Stop. She went into town to buy him some shoes, but when she got back, he was reading the news. How are you? I am fine. How are you? I am fine. Write an acceptance speech. Write a rejection letter. Write this poem. Or not.
Okay, now.
It was really difficult that Bob spent so much of his later years in the hospital. But the good thing is he got a lot of good poems of being in the hospital. You're like the poet laureate of hospitals. I'm going to read My Blood. My father, who was afraid of my mother's craziness, of her screaming and paranoia, told my sister and me that we had to deal with her, that she was our responsibility because we were blood relations. He had nearly been married to her for 55 years, just passing through. But he was my blood relative, and I carried the inheritance in a dented bucket. As the technician prepared to take blood from my arm, 4 tubes this time, I said that I envisioned, in a dark sub-basement of the hospital, a huge iron vat of my blood trembling a bit, as though something was trying to break through to the surface. I could tell she was wondering when to call for help. I've never been scared by the sight of my own blood swirling in the dentist's spit bowl or soaked through a Band-Aid. But I was stunned the first time I stood up after surgery and the blood came pouring from the foot-long opening in my abdomen. The bad-tempered physician's assistant jumped back. "You got my dress," she whined. But then, glub, she was drowned, and the blood flowed through the halls, down the stairs, into the cafeteria. Blood sandwiches were served, hollowed out and neatly folded. I floated back into the island of hospital corners, waiting for someone else's blood to replenish me.
Next is Gerald Fleming.
Thanks, Lizzie, and thanks for these wonderful paintings. Hi, everybody. I chose the darkest poem in the book because I think it really demonstrates Bob's range. And I think in this poem, he out-Williams and moves into Stephen's territory. It's a terrific poem. It's called Thursday, July 27th. Morning. Waiting for coffee, smoking, reading. A 1961 ladies' home journal. Bugs on the big window, some inside, some outside, wanting. Afternoon. Sitting on the queen, red tens on his thigh, the weather will clear by noon. Look for kings, his mother said. Rain ending by 2, the 3 of clubs torn, the 5, the 9, the jack in the toilet. Weak sunlight around 4. Evening. The same black bird flies toward the house again. Do not sense the variety of his circle. Shadow, not shade. The grass rapidly ungreen. The ice melting. Another dinner. Probably the same blackbird. Probably the same last boat on the bay. Probably the same fallen channel marker. We fight during dinner. I slam a door, you throw a plate, the children hide. We attack our guests. Still it grows dark again. Night. The moth in the room, wings against the window, thunder, the storm moving closer. Children will wake. You dream always of lightning. The moth will fly into my mouth. I will eat its dusty wings. Lightning, the same face at every window, a dead gull on the lawn, headless. 1,000 silverfish devour. Torn moths on the waves. Scream of a boatman, vomiting hunchbacks under the house. Darkness again, insane whispers of children in the night, then silence. Fraud. Everyone awake, waiting. Wings. Thank you.
Frank Murphy.
Oh, gets harder every year. Congratulations. Sorry. If you go out now to the Brooklyn Zoo, there's a charming children's zoo now. Grab the mic, friend. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. There's a charming zoo there now, but back when Bob wrote this poem, it was quite different. Visit to a Brooklyn Zoo. Hello, Charlie. This is Jack from San Diego. Look, I got a cancerous rhino. Maybe a month left in him. Can you use him? And a three-legged ocelot. You could pop her up. And can you use her? The children run ahead. Let's see the goddamn monkeys. Let's go see the shitty bears. Hello, Charlie. Warren in St. Louis. What's the story on the store? Oh yeah? Too bad. Look, I've got a concave camel and an elephant. We had to cut his ear off. Can you use them? The children run ahead. There are wild dogs in the silent bird house. And the zebra, it's got no face. How about a paralyzed hippo? You can float it. Can you use them? The children run ahead past the stiffening mangoes. They're hungry, even hungrier than before. Listen, Charlie, about the buffalo. The story won't show if you keep its back to the wall.
Okay, next is Dick and Mark together.
How do you deal with this? Just wanted to say, on the way here, passed by the movie theater all the way down by, I guess, by Helston Street. So I remember that it was a movie theater way back, but above the movie theater was Izzy Young's Folklore Center, where everybody gathered in the late 60s. And that's where I gave my first poetry reading. Bob gave his first. It was our first, each one of us doing our first poetry reading. We did it together at the Folklore Center. Yeah, just remember.
It's so great to see everybody. You know, this is a family gathering. It feels like quite since COVID, when we had our last annual book party, when many of your faces were present. And we're so pleased to have Trevor and Jerry come out from the West Coast for this event. So it's really thank you guys for making that effort. Of course, you wouldn't have missed it for all the world we know.
Okay.
Okay.
We're going to do, I'm sure, a favorite poem with many of us. Frank's Bar, 12 Adler Place, and as you'll see, we're doing our what's the word? We're doing our shtick. Our shtick. Imitation. We're reenacting the poem. Frank's Bar, 12 Adler Place, 12 Adler Place, Frank's Bar.
Because of the shape of the hill, Frank's Bar is directly upstairs from 12 Adler Place. Yet, Frank's Bar and 12 Adler Place each have a separate entrance at street level.
A back staircase connects the two. You can walk right into Frank's Bar and stay in Frank's Bar, or you can walk right into 12 Adler Place and stay in 12 Adler Place.
Some, however, prefer to walk into Frank's Bar, go downstairs, and drink in 12 Adler Place.
Others prefer to walk into 12 Adler Place, go upstairs, and drink in Frank's Bar.
Still others like to have a drink in 12 Adler Place, go upstairs and have a drink in Frank's Bar, then go downstairs again and have another drink in 12 Adler Place.
But they're really different sorts of bars. So people who drink in 12 Adler Place usually stay in 12 Adler Place, and people who drink in Frank's Bar usually stay in Frank's Bar.
The owner of Frank's Bar is Frank. The owner of 12 Adler Place is also Frank. But Frank doesn't run 12 Adler Place. Frank Jr. runs 12 Adler Place. Frank's wife helps him run Frank's Bar, but never goes downstairs to see her son Frank Jr. at 12 Adler Place. She watches television with earphones. Frank plays bar dice and dances the tarantella when a customer plays
G9.
Frank's Bar and 12 Adler Place share a common men's room. It's downstairs. It has 2 urinals. You might see a Frank's Bar drinker pissing at one and a 12 Adler Place drinker pissing at the other. They would probably not talk. They would probably not know each other. Now, this was a while back. Everything has changed. Frank is very old, Bessie too. Frank Jr. had other plans.
So Frank sold 12 Adler Place to Speck Simmons, who used to be a regular at Frank's Bar. Then all Frank's Bar regulars moved upstairs to drink with Specs at 12 Adler Place.
Moved downstairs.
Downstairs, all right.
He gets confused.
Who's my editor?
All this happened sometime after I left San Francisco when I was 25 years old. I don't know a lot of the stuff I used to know.
Oh, we skipped the stairs. Okay, go back. Let's go back. I'll go back to this one.
Okay.
The Frank's Bar regulars moved downstairs, that's what he said. And the Frank's Bar regulars, they became 12 Adler Place regulars. No one drinks at Frank's Bar anymore, and no one knows where the old 12 Adler Place regulars drink now.
All this happened some time ago, after I left San Francisco when I was 25 years old.
I don't know a lot of the stuff I used to know.
You could write Speck Simmons at 12 Adler Place and find out what's new, but I don't know if you'd get an answer.
Unless you were one of the old regulars at Frank's Bar, maybe not even then.
What's next? Oh, me. All right, I'm gonna read the poem. Swans loving bears burning and melting the melting year. And he said the subject for this evening's discussion is poetry on the subject of love between swans, Kenneth. Great bears on fire, leaping from their caves to watch the loving swans, and deer melting at the lake's receded edge. The swans hate their necks, and would be green pigeons sucking on sidewalks. I hate your sharp red beak, says a swan, but you must kiss me. The burning bears are watching the sweet rabbits behind the leaves shaking. The deer looks to the cave, sees nothing, and melts. Tony Toll.
Literary performance piece. My goal. Can everybody hear me in the back?
Yes.
All right, let me see.
It'd be better if you used the mic, Tony.
Give your advice to yourself. I can hear you.
No doubt.
Let me get to the page. Let me get to the page first.
Did you want me to hold it? Is that what you were saying?
Oh, no.
Okay, got it.
Disabled people like to feel independent. So, before we do this is about the editors who are here, and I just wanted to mention
that Lizzie sent me the garden in question, as you'll hear, before it becomes sort of like Miss Havisham's garden and David Copperfield and Great Expectations. And then she made it all nice for you. You've probably already been there, right? So, the editor's editing. Nomi, our neighbor, asked Donna, what are those guys doing out back? Sitting around the table full of papers. And one guy goes, blah, 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 blah. And the others all shake their heads and go, hum. Then the oak leaves fall, and the white carpet furniture covered with crazy snow. Blue Jay walks across the table and down somebody's leg. Blah, blah, blah.
Thank you, Tony. The next reader is Caroline Aikman.
Thank you. So one of the things that I most loved about Bob was his dark sense of humor, which I think is on full display here. I will be reading There Are People Who I Know Are Dead. There are people who I know are dead, and people I suppose are dead, and people who I fear are dead, and dead people long forgotten, and dead people who never leave, dead people in the closet, wearing my shoes, dead people on the kitchen floor, sprinkled with breadcrumbs, dead people in my favorite chair, watching reruns of reruns. New arrivals pull up in cabs. Their shapes are blurred at the edges, but their beautiful voices remain clear. Hello, old friends. Have a beer. Have a cigarette. What the hell now? The white horses standing still at the end of the beach near Big Sur at dawn. 60 years ago, that horse roams through the house all night, a red eye, a flash of mane. The horse will never die, but it lacks the gift of conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. And let's see, it's Steve Schrader.
Sitting in the back. I'm going to try and talk loud, fairly loud, because I'm hard of hearing. I have been hearing everything. So. Bob was a great reader, and the secret he told me was to not go on too long. Keep him hungry, he said, and he always did. So here's a short poem of his. Unveiling. It's simple. Everyone in my father's family dies of cancer. Everyone in my mother's family dies of heart disease. It took a while for me to realize that his family and her family added up to my family. Now I hear them arguing in their adjacent graves. You take care of it. No, you.
Thank you, Steve. This is the last part of the book. Chuck Wachtell wanted to come, he wanted to read this, but he really wasn't feeling well, so I'm going to read it. This was an email that my dad sent me right before he went into the hospital. Note to Lizzie. After an arduous day yesterday, I went to bed very early, but was awakened about 2 a.m. by a dream in which Ron Paget and I were disarming a murderer. I grabbed the guy and Ron grabbed his pistol. After this great adventure, I couldn't fall back asleep. After a while, I realized I was writing a poem in my head. The lines kept coming, and I was afraid I'd forget them, so I got up, 4 a.m., and went to my desk. Sometimes the poems that come to you in the middle of the night look like gibberish the next day, but I think this one holds up. And I think the manuscript for our book is now complete. I'll print out a copy of it and in sequence for you. Just want to say that we looked for that poem everywhere, so we put the email in the book. Thank you for coming. Thank you, everybody. This has been so great.
That would be great if all the poets could sign one book that's there for Lizzie. I think that would be super present. So,
Sweet, I'll set it up.
Great.
Thank you.